Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Amrita Devi Foundation talk show, Stories That Matter. I would request Manan to play the intro video, please, now. And then we'll introduce the guests.
सफर उत्तराखंड से शुरू हुआ, लेकिन हमारा सपना सिर्फ एक क्षेत्र तक सीमित रहना नहीं है। हमारा लक्ष्य है पूरे भारत में बदलाव लाना। एक ऐसा भारत जहां महिलाएं और युवा अपने पैरों पर खड़े हों, जहां पर्यावरण और विकास साथ साथ चले और जहां हर गांव, हर शहर अवसर और आत्मनिर्भरता का प्रतीक बने। इसी सोच के साथ हमने अपने पहले विंग अमृता देवी वुमेन स्किल डेवलपमेंट इंस्टीट्यूट शुरू किया। हमने महिलाओं को कौशल देना शुरू किया। कंप्यूटर ऑपरेटर में, सिलाई कढ़ाई में और डिजिटल मार्केटिंग जैसे कोर्सों के जरिए और अब तक 1500 से अधिक महिलाओं ने प्रशिक्षण ले लिया है। इनमें से 300 से अधिक महिलाएं आज आत्मनिर्भर हैं। किसी ने अपना व्यवसाय शुरू किया तो किसी ने रोजगार पाया। हर कौशल स्वतंत्रता और सम्मान की ओर एक कदम बना। क्योंकि हम मानते हैं जब महिलाएं आगे बढ़ती हैं तो पूरा समाज तरक्की करता है।
My experience was amazing throughout the course. All of it helped me a lot to become a better version of me. Thank you.
जिसमें डिजिटल मार्केटिंग के कोर्स में मैंने SEO, SMM, कैनवा, लिंक्डइन वीडियो एडिटिंग सीखा।
जब से मैंने सिलाई ज्वाइन की तो लक्ष्मी मैम ने बहुत अच्छे से, बहुत आसान तरीके से समझाया, उससे मुझे काफी कुछ समझ आया है।
यहाँ कंप्यूटर का 3 महीने का कोर्स किया और उसके बाद मेरे पे बहुत सारे चेंजेस आए। मैं बच्चों को लिखवाने पढ़ाने के साथ साथ अधिक से अधिक प्रैक्टिकल भी करवाती हूँ। अमृता देवी फाउंडेशन का धन्यवाद करना चाहती हूँ।
सबसे पहले मैं अमृता देवी फाउंडेशन का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहती हूँ। फिर मैं गुरु नेगी जी का भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहती हूँ, जिन्होंने हमें 6 महीने फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट सिलाई सीखने का मौका दिया, जिससे अब हम अच्छे से सिलाई सीखकर अपने खुद के कपड़े और आस पड़ोस रिश्तेदारों के कपड़े सिलकर बेनिफिट कमा पा रहे हैं।
परिवर्तन सिर्फ कौशल से नहीं आता। प्रकृति के बिना जीवन अधूरा है। इसलिए हमने अपने दूसरे विंग अमृता देवी अर्थ केयर के शुरुआत के, जिसके तहत उत्तराखंड से लेकर दिल्ली NCR तक हमने 1500 से अधिक पौधे लगाए हैं, जिनमें चंदन जैसे बहुमूल्य वृक्ष और दूसरे प्रजातियां जो हमारे पर्यावरण को सुरक्षित करते हैं भी शामिल हैं। ये पौधे न सिर्फ पर्यावरण को बचाते हैं बल्कि किसानों के लिए भविष्य की आय का साधन भी बनते हैं। और यही नहीं, हमने 110 से अधिक स्मोकलेस चूल्हे भी गांव-गांव पहुंचाए। इनसे घरों का धुआं कम हुआ, महिलाओं और बच्चों की सेहत बेहतर हुई और हर घर को मिला स्वच्छ सांस लेने का अधिकार। हमारे इन प्रयासों को देश भर में सराहा गया।
साथ में अगर आप देखें आज के दिन, तो एक जो सपना देखा गया था उसे आप एक शेप में होते हुए देख सकते।
साथ रिखानी गांव जो कि अल्मोड़ा में स्थित है, वहां पे पहुंचा। अमृता देवी अर्थ केयर की तरफ से जो कार्य पर्यावरण के लिए किया जा रहा है, उसका एक जायजा हमने यहाँ पे लिया। मुझे ऐसा लगा कि एक ऐसा काम कर रहे हैं कि जो सिर्फ पर्यावरण के साथ साथ जो यहाँ के रहने वाले हैं उनको भी इकोनॉमिकली सपोर्ट करें। ये जो मेरे पीछे आप देख रहे हैं, ये एक चंदन का वृक्ष है। कभी सोचा नहीं होगा कि चंदन के वृक्ष उत्तराखंड में भी इस तरह से लगाए जा सकते हैं, बट ये जो मुहिम चलाई है, जहाँ लोगों को एक दिशा दी गई है कि चंदन के पेड़ लगाएं, पर्यावरण की तरफ है ही जो सपोर्ट उसमें मिलेगा, बट इकोनॉमिकली ऑल्सो इट विल हेल्प द पीपल दोज हु आर रिसाइडिंग इन दिस एरिया।
मेरा नाम सुनीता मेहता है, मैं ग्राम रिखानी से हूँ और हमें आज अमृता देवी फाउंडेशन द्वारा धुआं रहित चूल्हे मिले। हम इनका प्रयोग करेंगे तो हमें धुआं नहीं लगेगा और जिससे हमारा स्वास्थ्य ठीक रहेगा। अमृता देवी फाउंडेशन का धन्यवाद करती हूँ, जिन्होंने हमें धुआं रहित चूल्हे दिए। धन्यवाद।
एक नया कदम अमृता देवी स्किल इंडिया के साथ। इस पहल के तहत हम युवाओं को IT सेक्टर की इंडस्ट्री डिमांड के अनुसार ट्रेन करेंगे, 6 महीने तक अनुभवी विशेषज्ञों द्वारा गहन प्रशिक्षण और अगले 6 महीने में प्लेसमेंट की सुविधा। यह 1 साल का कार्यक्रम युवाओं को जॉब रेडी बनाएगा और कॉरपोरेट्स को मिलेंगे स्किल्ड और प्रशिक्षित प्रोफेशनल्स। CSR पार्टनर्स के लिए एक विशेष लाभ, इन प्रशिक्षित छात्रों को हायर करने का पहला अधिकार। हमारी मेहनत को सम्मानित किया गया है, जिसके लिए हमने बेस्ट एनजीओ घोषित किया गया 2021 में GNE अवार्ड्स द्वारा और भारत इकोनॉमिक फोरम की सदस्यता प्राप्त हुई और इनक्रेडिबल वर्क प्लेसेस गोल्ड सर्टिफिकेशन अवार्ड मिला है और बहुत सारे अभी और आने बाकी हैं। हमारे वेल विशर्स जिनके सपोर्ट से ये संभव हुआ, हमारे इस सफर को और मजबूत बना रहे हैं। यही है अमृता देवी फाउंडेशन की पहचान। यह यात्रा सिर्फ हमारी नहीं, आपकी भी है। आपके सहयोग से ही यह क्रांति और गहरी जड़ें पकड़ सकती है। आइए मिलकर एक ऐसा भविष्य बनाएं जहां हर महिला सशक्त हो, हर पौधा पनपे और हर जीवन बदले। आज ही अमृता देवी फाउंडेशन से जुड़े, हमारी वेबसाइट देखें और हमें सोशल मीडिया पर फॉलो करें और हमारे साथ बदलाव का हिस्सा बने।
Excellent video. So, welcome everyone. So, today's topic is HR into CSR, that is aligning people's strategy with social impact. We often look at HR as a function that builds people and CSR as a function that serves society. But what happens when the two come together? Today's conversation is about exactly that intersection, where people's strategy meets social impact and where organizations move from creating employees to creating purpose. To have this conversation, we have some esteemed guests. And first guest is Mr. Puneet Sharma, who is the Chief Human Resource Officer, India and South Asia, ProMart. He helps organizations scale by aligning people's strategy with business outcomes. With over 20 years of experience as a CHRO, he builds strong leadership, culture, and governance to drive sustainable growth. Welcome, Mr. Puneet Sharma.
Hi, Mr. Mayank. Thank you so much for inviting and for a lovely introduction. Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure is ours, sir. Right.
Thank you.
Our next guest is Ms. Megha Arora, who's a senior analyst, Analect India. She's a strategic HR professional with experience around people and culture, project management, and operations, driving high impact employee lifecycle, engagement, and performance initiatives. She's a trusted advisor to leaders, known for translating people data into actionable insights with strong execution and a builder mindset. Welcome, Ms. Megha.
Hi, man. Thank you so much for the quick introduction. I'll just add on to what you said. So I've been leading CSR initiatives for my organization since last year. And it has been an incredible opportunity to know about this side of the organization, how inclination matters towards the society and how you can create an impact. Looking forward to the session.
Yeah, thank you so much for your introduction, Miss. You made my thing easy. Great. Now we have one more Miss Megha over here, namesake, so pretty nice, but she's a different Megha. She's India Leadership Team member and HR Director, Vervent. She's HR Director with 17 plus years of experience partnering with business leaders to build performance-driven HR ecosystems across APAC, MEA, and the US. She specializes in leadership development, succession, governance, and talent strategy, driving transformation through data-led and AI-enabled insights. Welcome, Ms. Megha. Ms. Megha. Ms. Megha, are you there? Okay, we'll move on. I think Ms. Megha must be coming back in few seconds or few minutes. Our fourth guest is Mr. Selva. Mr. Selva, he's a senior talent acquisition specialist with 8 plus years of experience. He has hiring high impact talent across tech and non-tech roles. He's known for his improving retention by 20% and reducing time to hire by 15% through strong stakeholder management, data-driven processes, and a people-centric approach. Welcome, Ms. Selva. Mr. Selva. Mr. Selva, are you there? Mm, Mr. Manan? Yes, Mr. Selva. I've just introduced you. Mr. Selva? My friend Manan, can you please look into it? Mr. Selva and Miss Megha, I think they are unable to join or they are unable to be on screen. If you can just help them.
Sir, there is some problem from the Mr. Silva's side. We can continue the session. He's joining.
I'm sorry. I'm saying that Miss Megha is also there. Should also be there. She was. I mean, I introduced her. I think she was there. She came on screen as well. So if you can check with her. Yes, she's there. There she is, Miss Megha.
Hi, Mr. Mayank, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you. We cannot see you.
Wonderful. Sorry, I think there's some. I'm not able to turn on the camera. But thank
Okay.
you for the warm introduction and very pleased to be here with all the leaders and happy to contribute about CSR initiative, which is so imperative in today's context with so much that's happening in and around us. So looking forward to a very good interaction.
Great, madam. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, we can see Mr. Selva also. Mr. Selva is also here. Uh, yes, Mr. Selva. We introduced you. I think you
Yeah,
were.
can you
I
hear
hope
me?
you were able to hear that.
Yeah. Now I can hear. Sorry, I'm facing internet issues maybe, but my internet is quite nicely working. I don't know. Maybe the app is not syncing much.
No problem. No problem.
Can you
Let's
hear me?
start. Let's
Yeah.
carry on. So, Mr. Puneet,
Yeah.
first question is for you. So, how are you integrating CSR into your core HR strategy rather than treating it as a parallel initiative? And what tangible impact have you seen on hiring quality or employer branding?
So, Mayank, to be very honest, traditionally, CSR as a function was always treated as a parallel kind of a thing, not as a mainstream kind of thing. Uh, so we started way back in early 2000 when it was more like an employee volunteering experience rather than, CSR being a compliance kind of a thing which was enforced upon organizations. So I still remember in the year 2008 when I was heading the CSR function for Barclays for India and Indian Ocean.
Right.
From that point itself, we bred the culture of ownership in our employees. So there were a lot of initiatives at that point of time, the most famous being Make a Difference Day and all that kind of stuff. But we used to ensure that, guys, you need to own up whatever you're wanting to do. It's not only about raising a donation or a feel good kind of a factor, but you need to own that thing up what you're trying to do it in the CSR kind of thing. Now, when I started moving around after being from a bank and then moving into a microfinance domain, wherein we were supposed to work with essentially women folk and the people living in below poverty line areas. So there was a consistent need of skilling, upskilling, spreading the literacy, so that these people either are able to generate employment for themselves or they are becoming an employable kind of a stuff. So that was a very very big kind of a thing, and every employee was expected to contribute to that. So it was a high grade of ownership, and it was a kind of in our own DNA of our teams that we were doing that bit. Today when we talk about CSR, now it is embedded into our employees complete life cycle, to be very honest, starting from as an employer branding, when you sit down doing conversation about recruitment as a process, talking to them, when you actually tell them the stories on a real basis, how it happens on the ground. So these CSR impact stories during these hiring conversation, they actually come across, and it is like a proof of purpose that is in action on ground. So the tangible impact here, that culture starts right from the day when the person comes in to talk to, expect, as you being a prospective and a preferred employer. And the tangible effect is that, people come, they develop a high amount of emotional quotient. A spiritual quotient also goes up. And it helps in a lot of retention kind of thing. We see a lot of ownership, and when employers talk about building that entrepreneurial approach into the employees, I think CSR plays a very big role in making people accept, own, deliver, and also own it. When we talk about adopt this, CSR actually breeds that thing in adoption of that. So while there might not be any balance sheets to support that, but more tangible effects are visible when you do your employee satisfaction surveys and voice of employee surveys kind of thing. People who get engaged, employees who get engaged, are highly
Right.
satisfied, and very very strong, and emotionally also very strong they become. They have that sense of ownership that we have given something back to the society.
That's excellent. Excellence are quite impressive. Of course, initially, as you said, that some make a difference days were celebrated. I mean, you were driving that, and then of course CSR stories, as you said, that they become the proof of purpose. And one very good thing that happens when, as you are saying, uh, the spiritual quotient and emotional quotient of these people go up automatically, and then once they are into this, and then of course all the difference is made, and then they also feel that sense of achievement or sense of happiness once they contribute. That comes pretty
Absolutely right.
naturally.
Absolutely. It becomes a driver in themselves. They don't have to push them then.
Right. It comes from within then, because they know that. What I think is that every time, if all of us want to make some difference, but in our day-to-day life, once we are going for our bread and butter, then we don't have time. But once these CSR initiatives come in, then most of us who actually want to contribute, then they get this opportunity, and they then no motivation is required for them. They just go ahead and just do that, contribute.
This is how they evolve as a role model.
Right. Few of them, and that's very nice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sure.
Great. Moving ahead. Then, Mr. Selva, the second question is for you. In today's competitive hiring landscape, how much does a company's CSR impact a candidate's decision to join? I mean, of course, good candidates. And can you share a real example where CSR has become a decisive factor in some important
Sure,
hiring?
sure. I hope everyone can hear me. Sorry for the interruption. I mean, internet interruption earlier. So I've come out of my cabin now. So I hope I'm audible, right?
Yeah.
For
We can hear
everyone?
you. We can
Yeah,
see you.
great, great. So I'll suggest, two, three factors which really determine, how hiring and CSR is, in more correlated, important to each other, and has a whole impact on a candidate's and the company's life, right? So
Right.
on a very outset, if you see hiring is one thing, a company hires someone, a person is coming inside a company joining, and other on the other hand, company is doing social activity CSR. So at the very outset, as a normal common man, you can see don't know you don't see any correlation, but when you join the company you really see the correlation, right? And when you as a professional you see that how it impacts. So I'll tell you two three points in this context. So number one would be the company's reputation, right? How the CSR activities impact the company's reputation and the candidate's willingness to join the company, such company. So any of us, any of us, a professional, whosoever, a senior, junior, anyone, even a fresher, college pass out, would join a company who has a reputation in terms of financial stability, in terms of growth, everything. So CSR stands out as an important factor in that decision, because when a candidate joins a company, he sees that what exactly the company does for the society. Okay, it could be a
Right.
service company, product company, whatsoever, right? But as an organization, what sort of a commitment they have, So CSR, the main thing is what CSR does is whatever activity you do in CSR, what it does is the candidate feels that company is not just going by word of mouth, they are not just speaking, they are doing practically something, right? I'm joining a company, Selva joins a company as an HR, so he will see that okay, they are giving all the commitments by words, they are like quite impactful in society, whatever, blah, blah, right? But when I see practically what the company does in CSR across various activities to the society, then it really makes my decision stronger to join the company, right? I'll be really serious to join such a company. Okay. And again, one more point I would like to, reiterate, tell in this context is that the company, whosoever you are joining, right, whosoever that company, CSR activities really give a edge over your competitors, right? If you are joining company A, it has competitors B and C. So if as an individual I have three offers from A, B, C, right? So company
Right.
A does a great CSR activity, right? They are really contributing well to the society. Their CSR initiatives are bringing a change to the society, right? So I'll choose A over B and C because B and C are, either zero in their CSR or else they are just, having a vision only, not practically doing anything. So I'll be preferring A because they are practically doing something, really giving an impact to the society in such terms. Okay, so in such a way, A will have a competitive advantage when giving an offer to the candidate to join, right?
Right.
So
I want
another
to add
factor,
over here. Maybe, yes, yes, please go ahead.
yes, yeah, please,
No, no,
please,
please go ahead. Okay, so my
and
question was that I can see that I can see that you are saying that you will prefer company A, but of course the question was there are couple of more things here over.
okay,
First, have
okay,
you seen? I mean, so have you seen practically
your
in
voice is
live that
broken.
some? Can you hear me now? Just hold on.
Hello,
Let me just give me. It should
can
be
you hear
fine
me?
now. Is it okay? Is it okay? Great. So my question is that has that happened? I mean, practically, have you seen somebody joining any organization when CSR is a decisive factor? Second, have you seen organizations who are actually promoting or marketing their jobs or their organization that they are doing these CSR activities? I remember one organization. That organization is Amul. So I've not joined that, but I can see not. I mean, there was no employer-employee relation, but I could see on television that what they are doing, they are serving thousands and thousands of ladies who are bringing milk to them, and then they. Hello, I think Mr. Selva is gone. Mr. Selva, are you there?
I'm so sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
voice was breaking in the middle. Yeah,
Right, right.
so sorry.
Can you hear me now? No problem.
Yeah, yeah,
Can you hear
please,
me now?
please.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I was saying that
please.
I've seen an advert of Amul, wherein they had shown that so many ladies are bringing milk to this Amul factory, and then they are processing it. So that was a CSR thing, and as a customer, of course, I was more inclined towards buying Amul products. So, have you seen any such event wherein people have joined any organization because they are doing the CSR activity? Of course, what you had said that maybe that organization will be preferred, but in
I'll tell
real
you.
example, talk about.
Sure, sure, sure. I'll tell you a real example. So I would not prefer to taking the exact name, to be honest.
No problem, no
Since
problem.
it was an
You
old
can
client
mention.
of mine, okay, not working with them anymore, right? But it was a world's largest cigarette company, right? It's a cigarette company. Okay.
Okay.
Generally, at the very outset, as a candidate, either as a woman candidate, anyone, you will say, "Oh, it's a cigarette company, and how would I join, or will I feel safe, or does this company really do something to the society?" Right? That would be a question. Okay. And when I used to do hiring, that was general question, right? It's a cigarette company. How you are going to hire? But that company was the safest place to work as an organization, and as a company they used to contribute really well to the society in terms of CSR. They were the number one in doing CSR. So when your CSR programs really reach the society in various terms, whether it's women empowerment, whether it's children's studies. There are various other areas as well which you can cover. So when your programs are so effective that people are in the image that, okay, this is what I expect from a company where I join. They are doing something to the society, and when I'm going to work with them, my work, the profit which I'm going to earn to give them, that that is going to some good cause finally, right? That what really brings a sense of belongingness when you join a company. So that I felt, that's a real life example what that company does is. So that's
Right,
how
right.
effective it should be. Yeah.
Really nice. They are doing the balancing act. A cigarette company
Yeah,
into
really.
CSR, and they're doing really good in CSR. That's really nice. So it's quite interesting. So nice example,
Thank you.
Selva.
Thank you.
Great, great. So moving ahead, this next question is for Miss Megha Arora. Miss Megha, what are the key elements do you think of a CSR initiative that truly engages employees and doesn't feel like a tick box activity, especially in the corporate volunteer programs? Because generally, what we have seen is programs start and then just after a period of time, they die their own death, they die their natural death. So it is not. It should not be a tick box activity. I'm sorry. Yes, please, Megha, Miss Megha.
Absolutely. So, first of all, thanks to Mr. Puneet and Mr. Selva for putting up their thoughts on CSR, because it really builds a base on where you speak on, and definitely well said that social and ethical values that an organization carries with its brand name is something that the prospect employees of the organization look at. So how well are you able to sustain in the society? What is your contribution? What is your thought process towards it? Because when it comes to employee volunteering, it is all about the sentiment and the culture that you've created for them. So it is an opportunity for them to probably take a step forward in case they wish to come and deliver through their skills and expertise. And that is when I feel an employee is completely involved in that space of CSR. It's not a corporate social responsibility single-handedly, but it's a community social responsibility, a collective social responsibility that I would like to rather call it as. So it's best when we engage employees through their skill set. You look at mentorship programs. You look at something that involves three aspects of a human, of an individual, which is your head, heart, and hand. So something that you think about doing, something in your head you wish to empower somebody with an opportunity to become financially independent, to upskill in their careers, or in fact provide an opportunity for them to educate themselves better. So that is what something that you have in your head, so your thought process is very clear. And then your heart, out of that magnanimous nature of yours, or something that comes as an experience to you in your journey of life, that's something that you missed out on doing and you want somebody else to uh, of course overcome as an obstacle in their life journey, is something that comes from your heart. And the third is when you use your hands, you use your skills, and that is when you make that impact, you give. So I remember this International Women's Day, the theme was give to gain. So I think that absolutely represents the mindset that one must build, is that you give and you gain. So it's a two-way street of interaction when it comes to employee volunteering under corporate social responsibility. And more or less, in an organization, it comes top to down. When we see our stakeholders, our executive leadership team members participating and completing their mentorship journeys and creating that impact, so that influence also creates within the employees. So that's the other part to it. I think employee volunteering is not merely a branding activity
Right.
any longer. People genuinely come forward. They definitely want to contribute in their own ways. However, it actually depends how, as an HR, are we able to offer them the bouquet of opportunities of contributing. It could be each day, every day. For example, you save food, you are able to make an impact to somebody's life, because that food can be passed on to somebody in need. So with that, you can celebrate Hunger Action Month throughout your organizations. Let everybody be aware of the initiatives and the cause behind that we wish to support. That's one part to it. Then we quarterly interventions, short term interventions, annual interventions are all that come along. But building that culture of coming forward, the proactiveness of contributing is something that we must imbibe in our employees as part of the organization. So that was from my
Excellent,
side.
Miss. Excellent. I mean, it was really good to hear few new things. I mean, this is the first time that we have heard that three H, head, heart, and hand, and you are putting all of them together. Or maybe everything is, you're giving a role to everything, and that is how they have to perform. And of course, very rightly said that even empowering someone is also CSR, and your organization should do that, not only uh, in the beginning, but that should continue, so that we keep empowering other people, and that should happen. But I think one thing I had missed, I can see that, of course, you said that short-term reviews and long-term reviews should keep happening, so that the traction remains. But then one event you said, that Ration Month, what was that?
Hunger Action Month. So
Hunger Action Month.
September, yes, September is
So if you
generally
can just
marked as
tell
the
us
Hunger
something more
Action.
about it.
So we launched like a campaign internally, because as part of our organization benefits, we tend to give meals to our employees. And Hunger Action Month brings your attention to the nutritional aspects of how people are suffering from malnutrition or from lack of resources to fulfill even one meal of the day. So while that you're getting that as a benefit from the organization, we must ensure we take as much in our plate as we can consume, instead of those going into trash bins, and thereafter it isn't being used. It could be recycled for that matter at the very last resort. But to be able to consume as much as you can allows somebody else to take that meal and satisfy their hunger. So that's the human
Very
aspect
nice.
of it that we wish to add in each employee's heart and head when they take that portion for themselves.
Right, right. And I'm sure that all these employees get a lot of sense of achievement when through them somebody else is getting feed it. So
Absolutely.
that's really a nice thing.
It's truly a fulfilling experience for each employee, the organization as a whole, to be able to contribute, to be able to make an impact. So that sense of achievement is what probably we collectively look forward to from the HR space.
Right, right. Excellent. So of course there are so many, so less hands, giving hands, I would say. Very, very less giving hands in the world, and so many hands to take. Let's be a part of the hands which are giving hands. Well, let's be that. Very, very nice. So moving ahead, Miss Megha J, uh, a question for you now. So how can organizations embed a sense of purpose through CSR into everyday work culture, so that employees feel connected even outside volunteering days? Miss
Thank
Megha.
you, Mayank, for the question. I hope I'm audible.
Yes,
I
yes, you're
am
audible.
facing a bit of a technical issue, so I'm not able to turn on my camera. Bear with me.
No
I
problem.
think a very important question, because it is all about purpose at the end of the day. CSR is all
Correct.
about giving back and having a right purpose and a right framework in place. I've been a
Right.
big advocate of CSR right from my school, college days, and wherever possible in big or small ways, I've tried to contribute. And
Right.
over a period of time, I've been able to have this opportunity to work closely with corporates and look at this like building an ecosystem and not a standalone strategy in the organization. And what I mean by this is not just a HR initiative, this is not just a finance initiative, or any other department specifically. So all hands need to join collectively to make this possible. So sometimes it's an idea that comes from the employee, sometimes it's an employer, sometimes it could be, driven by a NGO or an organization. Like there are so many organizations who want to do a lot of creative CSR initiatives, but where do we start is the first question. So having that right guidance is more important. And gone are those days where we see CSR as more fund driven, compliance and stuff like that. Right? It's more of
Bookmark
participation,
activity, as we
more
were
of
talking about.
correct, and more of engagement led approach right now. And it is all about coming together as opposed to driving it, again with the right intent and a mindset to drive it. The more it is and intent driven, and sometimes we've also seen initiatives where we don't see entire organization following that. We have a group of 30 odd people, 50 odd people, or 100 odd people who just come together because they have a very clear purpose and they feel accomplished with a high sense of belonging by driving that particular initiative, and that has been quite successful. So the idea here is we're not trying to force fit and mandate it. We're trying to create different opportunities where smaller groups can come, they can participate, and what makes more sense to me probably may not make sense to someone else. So that's something that we're trying to do, trying to keep it more flexible. And especially the current organization where I'm working, Vervent, we have consciously moved away from anything which is traditional CSR initiative, which is very typical of going outside in the entire as an entire big group and representing the company, doing a lot of branding, doing a lot of activity to promote the organization.
Right.
Right, so it is more of what our employees actually want, what they feel is giving back to the society. So there are pulse surveys, then there are smaller groups identified through volunteering exercises, they come forward, they are the ones who say, oh well, I think we should look at blood donation camp, we should look at restoration, we should look at planting some saplings in and around our compound, our society, our building. Again, not looking at a mega scale, but trying to consciously cut down, listen to people more than making it HR driven sort of activity. Going back to driving the purpose and making CSR more impactful.
Right, right. Very rightly said that 20 or 30 odd people
More
will come out and then
and
they are the ones who are going to make the difference. Yes, yes, please go ahead, Miss Megha. Miss Megha, can you hear me?
these things more as a checkbox activity, like Mr. Puneet and Megha rightly spoke. Selva also highlighted the same thing. I think this is
Right.
the key takeaway, that we all
Mhm.
consciously need to see the need for it, believe in the purpose to drive it and make it more effective.
Right, right. I think Miss Megha, we just lost your voice for a few minutes, for a few seconds over there, and that is what that is when I thought that you have stopped speaking, and that is when I had said that there are few. It takes some odd people to come out and make that impact, as you had rightly said, 20 odd people or 30 odd people. So these are the odd ones who are coming out and making a difference and making a big difference to everyone. So, and of course they are not only making a difference, they are influencing others also to be a part of that CSR thing. So one question also comes out from here. It's just a extempore kind of question. So once people are doing these CSR activities, and of course when we are also motivating, the organization is also motivating them, but it is a possibility in some of the of course private organizations, when some person is very much into the CSR or spending time or maybe effort into the CSR activity. Organizations also, maybe their managers, their HODs may not feel that good, because they may say that of course this person has to spend some time on this, and he or she has to complete that project or some assignment, and he is into that wasting time. So how do you deal with that?
That's a very good question, and I'm sure the audience who is hearing it also relate to what you're saying, because this is something that is happening in many organizations. Well, that's why it's more important to have a sense of purpose and not just drive in silos and come up with some random activity. And what I mean by sponsorship is not just about communication, that
Right.
this particular day, this particular month of the year, we're doing this initiative. Where is it coming from? How does it connect back to the larger purpose of the organization? Is it embedded in the strategy? Is the timeline, making sense? Because let's say we have operations, deliverables and commitment, and that is exactly not the time where we come up and have these kind of programs. So that alignment is really important. So the HR strategy, and then the sponsorship, alignment, and people volunteering to sign up, all of that needs to come together and not operate in silos.
Right, right. Even I think that it has to be driven by the leadership. So leadership should have that kind of say in that, or they should promote it. So what do you think, Mr. Puneet and Miss Megha on this, Miss Megha Arora on this? Maybe it's just a small bite, and then I have a question for all of you, a common question. Before that, I
So,
want you to answer maybe this question.
so point number one is yes. I think what Megha said is absolutely correct. There is sometime, we do feel there is a backlash, or there is a kind of a undercurrent kind of, or people resisting, why the team members are going out and all. But
Correct.
I've also experienced that people are excited about these things as well, whether they are the team members, whether they are the team managers. And as I have also mentioned in the beginning, the purpose is very, very important.
You're
So
right.
once there might be a calendar of a CSR activities, we do this, we do that, we have to do this, we have to do that, all inclusive. Sometimes something happens which is unplanned, and how you stand up to that cause and that purpose is also important. Say for example, we've been working in below poverty line areas, something happens, natural calamity, the entire team, then they teams up, and then they go down onto the ground and they support. There is no resistance at all. This is what I meant in the beginning: ownership. People own the CSR initiatives. There
Right.
might be a calendar, but anything that comes up, what I see is always excitement. People want to help genuinely. So
Right.
I've seen both the perspectives. Yes, some amount of resistance, strategizing, calendar basis, and then stand up when actually it is required.
Yes. So this spark helps a lot. So once we see this kind of spark in people, and then of course, then the
Yes, yes,
difference is actually
absolutely.
made.
See, it is a selfless kind of gesture. You have to
Correct.
be selfless. It has to be beyond your workplace, beyond workstations.
Right.
It should not always be a strategized or a calendar based kind of an event. If the need arises, stand up to the occasion. Let's do it. Let's get it done.
Right. Right. Miss Megha Arora, if you want to say
Absolutely.
anything.
I think very well said by Mr. Puneet already. That intent of going that extra mile to help somebody, and that to, managing your business priorities is how you maintain that balance between, business and CSR. So, any employee, any person who wishes to do that will definitely get that time and space to, manage that.
Great. Great.
Absolutely
And Mayank,
Right. Yes. Yes. Yes.
piggybacking on
Please.
your point,
Yes. Please.
when CSR becomes a shared cultural value in the organization and not an obligation which is driven by some teams, and like you rightly
Hmm.
said, leadership
Hmm.
sponsorship is extremely important. And sometimes we don't get it easily. So should we stop there, or should we kind of go back and have that narrative, have a compelling story to connect back, to relate back through videos, through narratives, through people actually experiencing something, then going back to their leaders and sharing those stories, have also, like the bottom up approach, have also made a lot of impact.
Right. Right.
I was about to just say this bottom up approach. I've seen, the younger ones being more excited, and
So true.
I'm taking everybody along. It happens like that,
Right.
so that
It's a good
leadership
causes.
skill is also inculcated by being selfless kind of a thing, you know. So
Right.
200% with Mega on that. 200% with Mega on that.
Ultimately, but we have to get the buy-in of the leadership as well, because without that it will be a little difficult. But yes, this is also a very excellent approach wherein everybody is doing something good, creating an impact and showing it to the leaders, and they are also getting inspired. So bottom to up approach is nice, though it is a little
So
tough
I'll
to
just
I mean,
add two
easy to
words
say and
here.
tough to act. You have to do.
I'll just add
Yes,
two
yes.
words
Please go
here.
ahead, sir. Yes.
Budget matters.
Of course. Budget, time, effort, everything matters over there
Correct, correct,
because,
correct.
right, right.
Absolutely.
That's correct.
But again, that
So,
selfless gesture still rules. That selfless gesture still rules.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So not
If there
only in
is
our
no budget,
professional lives, the
I
organizations
have
which are
seen.
driving
Sorry,
CSR. Please,
yeah,
please.
Mayank, sorry, I'm cutting you here. I've actually seen when there was no budget and there was a situation to rise up, people have even contributed from their own pocket. I've been a
That's
witness to such
excellent.
kind of things also. Yeah,
Right, right, right. This is really nice. So once these kind of things happen, organizations also think that of course once they have these kind of set of people who are actually contributing to help someone else. Why not
correct.
organization as a whole can do that, right?
Absolutely.
Great, great. So now I have a question for all of you, a common question. Maybe we can have a discussion around it, or we can just maybe give the answer one by one. So the question is, if you had to give one strategic advice to organizations starting today, how can they design CSR initiatives and not only create a social impact, but also become a stronger driver for a talent attraction and retention? So of course, it is going around that marketing of CSR activities or how to attract people by showing that how good they are at CSR activities and what contribution they are making to the society. Please.
Uh, yeah. So, Mayank, to be very honest, I would advise, if I'm asked, organizations should not design their CSR initiatives only to showcase, for the impact. They must
Right,
design it for participation and ownership by employees at large. And
right,
how I have seen it as, my perspective is people might differ. There are 3 points to it. One, whatever you want to do, you must align your CSR with a relevant cause.
right,
Second is possibly, involvement of employees at all levels is very important. They should not only be present there to just donate and observe. Get down, do something, own it up.
correct.
And at the end, whatever you've done as a team, as a selfless group of people, there has to be a visibility of that impact, the kind of contribution that you've tried to make, and how it has actually made a difference into the life or situation or whatever. So I think relevance, involvement, and that visibility of impact is very, very important, with 100% partnership and ownership amongst employees, selfless, completely selfless. So just don't design CSR for as a fundraising activity or as a only for an impact. Design it if you really want employees to retain and look back upon. They must participate and own that thing.
Right, right, sir. Of course, I think that what you reminded me of is this long time back in 2014 when Swachh Bharat Abhiyan was driven at that time. That was
Correct,
not a CSR
correct.
activity, but I think the crux, and people were saying that it's just a picture kind of thing. You just have to take a broom and start cleaning, and then you get a picture, so upload on social media. But I think that was a very, very important message that they were trying to give. That once you start cleaning, once you get that experience of cleaning something around yourself,
Mm,
you will get that. Uh, you will see that impact, and that will you will get the
correct.
sense of achievement that yes, you have cleaned that particular area. So
Absolutely,
that was
absolutely.
the intent that I think they were trying to drive at that time. Of course, so once we are giving our employees this kind of opportunity, they are also doing something by their own hands. They are getting down deep, and then they are making that kind of impact. Of course, very rightly said, sir.
And Mayank, what did it call? It called participation from everybody, irrespective of
Yes,
who you are.
correct, correct,
Yeah?
because that is
So
something
this
that
is what
everyone can
impact
do.
factors are. Absolutely, absolutely. You just need to be intention to do that.
Yes, yes. So that means if you can do it, you should do it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right. Yes, Miss Megha Arora.
Thanks again for the opportunity. So I remember Miss Megha calling this around pulse surveys that that are
Right.
facilitated to actually gauge the employee voice. What do they want, right? So when we are co-creating with our employees the strategy of a CSR and not merely relying on what probably a CSR consultant has to offer as a brand strategy, but what employees have to say when it comes to their locational requirements, their observations around environment, around social security, social well-being. So that is where you align yourself more with the employees you are able to create that level of retention prospect with them because they feel heard, and that what matters more
Right.
when an employee chooses to stay in the organization. So I
Correct.
think that will be a small and crisp point of view from my side.
Of course. But impactful. Crisp, but impactful. That's correct.
Thank you.
Yes, Miss Megha J.
Thank you. So I think in a tech space that we are in, especially in a place like Bangalore, where we currently see our teams are very fast paced. There is a need for global alignment, and in general, people are more stretched, younger workforce, trying to experiment a lot of things, trying to achieve bigger heights. So it's more important for them to feel that they are part of a bigger purpose, and it's not just the day to day job of overachieving that really plays an important role in their life, is what a meaningful CSR initiative actually does. I've seen many of our employees taking baby steps and having a feeling of giving back to the society and talking really big about these initiatives. And this is beyond salaries, this is beyond the benefits that the company is trying to drive. So I think those are the right set of ambassadors that we need to talk to, where we need to promote them and empower them to build on this further, and not necessarily go through a particular intervention and force fit. And in fact, we have faced this ourselves. Like, I was earlier part of different organizations like Millenol, Arcades, where we have dedicated a day called as Day of Purpose. And
Right.
that's a day where it is off, it is a holiday for everybody to do any sort of community activity. Even if it means you can't step out on that day, you spend some time with your house help, understand if he or she needs any help pertaining to the family, kids, and give back. I mean, as small as that to as large as going to a different village, adopting that village. Again,
Right.
going back to the same point, Mayank, when we initially planned for larger full day volunteering activities, what we have seen is it all looks great on paper, but eventually, owing to
It
the
is an holiday. It is a
commitments,
holiday.
availability, right? So people drop out at the
Right.
last minute. So the current approach that we are following is to break initiatives into smaller pockets, low
Yeah.
time commitment formats, volunteered by the employees. It can be a 1 to 2 hour engagement activities, led,
Right.
driven by the business teams, of course, facilitated by HR, facilitated by the committee which is driving all of this. And that's how we're trying to create a loop, um, by sharing the outcomes, by sharing the photographs, real stories, everything that is possible through the way of over communicating and trying to relate to the larger audience in the organization.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So I think what you, I mean, something you instigated in me also, and what I think we can do is, I mean, we can also tell our employees that, of course, if they are doing very good in their lives, in their jobs, so it is, they are really fortunate that they are doing something and they can immediately see the impact. For example, if some payroll person is there, that person has created that payroll, and then at the end of the month, everybody got their salary on time, and the correct salary. So that is accuracy at 100% accuracy. So that is a good achievement, but it is, they are very really fortunate. But once we go out in the society, we see that there are people who are not such fortunate at all. They are challenges, no matter what they are doing, no matter how hard they are working, still at the end of the day they are getting barely few things. There, if we can make the difference, if they understand, if our employees understand that difference, if they understand that how fortunate they are and what they can do to contribute to someone else, even if they have to put in extra efforts. It is not about the organization, but still they have to put in extra efforts. Then I think some, at least some difference will be made, and few employees will actually take that and go ahead and try to create that difference.
Absolutely.
Great. Mr. Selva, now it's your turn.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah.
So, uh, overall, since being a talent acquisition professional, so my importance to, CSR activities from company point of view, from the hiring point of view, again,
Hmm. From hiring point of view, but the internet is an issue.
yeah,
Difficult.
sorry. I'm,
No problem. It's not your
yeah,
fault.
sorry. My mobile internet is an issue. Office, it's quite good. So,
Yeah.
again, reiterating from what where I left, and giving the importance of CSR from hiring point of view,
Hmm.
right? So, I see CSR. I mean, I may be wrong, but I'm just seeing from societal point of view and company point of view.
Right.
I see CSR as a deferred revenue expenditure. If you have heard in accounting, right? So deferred revenue expenditure means something you're doing. Again, this is a good thing for the society. All obviously, this is a noble thing. So something you're doing which is yielding results for a longer time, right? It's not having any time limit, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, right? So I see CSR as such an impactful thing, not only right from the society's point of view, from company's point of view, from the employees point of view. This is something which is yielding results in all the aspects for over a longer period of time than what we think, right? So that's what that is where the its beauty comes in, whether in terms of impacting to the society, doing good to all sections of the people, right? Also acting as a brand image of the company, right? Improving the company's brand image, the brand equity, right? Even the number terms, right? Metrics, and finally the person's willingness to join or work in such a company, because employees, again, the first point is the, you can say, a sense of belongingness. That's where that is where every person, every HR person wants to create, whether to a new joiner, whether to an existing employee. The sense of belongingness towards company's objectives, as adding individual objectives to the company's objectives and reaching a mutual goal, a sense of, by creating a sense of belongingness. So that's where CSR, I think, is primarily important, right? That's how the programs, the CSR initiatives should be designed in such a way so that we give maximum benefit to the society, all sections of the society, plus the individual working in the company can relate to the company's ideologies. It reaches to a mutual point of success. So that's all my point is. I hope I did my best to answer this.
Yes, you did your best. Of course.
Thank you.
The only one thing is that,
Great.
as you said, that company's brand image and brand equity, of course, that should come as a byproduct. Of course, once the purpose
Correct,
is
correct.
to actually create a difference in the
Yeah,
society,
that's an
that is what,
additional
of
thing,
course,
but
one
again, the main thing is focus is on
byproduct.
the all sections of the society. That's the main objective.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Excellent. So thank you, everyone. I would say that organizations will no longer. I mean, what I understand from today's discussion is that organizations will no longer be defined only by what they achieve, but by the impact they create in the society. And of course, HR has a pivotal role in making that happen. We as HR, because when people strategy aligns with the social purpose, work just doesn't drive performance. It actually drives meaning of the organization, of people's life. So thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of it. It was a wonderful discussion. I'm sure that we all have some takeaways. I have a lot of takeaway from this session, and thanks to all the senior leaders. and guests over here. It'll be great, Mr. Selva and Miss Megha, if you can just switch on your camera so that we can take a picture. We can take a screenshot for the memories.
Sure, Mayank.
Yes,
Let me give it a try.
Yeah. So, Mr. Manan, will you be able to take the screenshot, or should I take it?
I'm just moving to my phone. Hopefully this works.
Yeah, it is working. It is working. Let me just take that. Just hold on. Yes, I've just taken that. So thank you everyone, and have a wonderful evening ahead. And कल से तो holidays शुरू हो रही हैं, so happy holidays. 2 दिन की.
Weekend.
Saturday
Weekend
and
is on.
Sunday.
Thank you so much,
Great.
everyone.
Have a
Thank
nice
you
and
so
have a
much.
wonderful
Thank you,
weekend.
Thank you, Mayank. Wonderful talking to
Pleasure.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.